So perhaps you're having some success as a trader and you want to take it to the next level. How do you do that though? What kind of changes do you need to make to your trading plan to make that happen? Our guest today is Mike Toma. He's a full-time trader. We're going to talk about that. Mike, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Tim.
Well, so I'm trading the E-mini contract, for example. I'm having some good success on a weekly or even a daily basis with one contract. How do I decide if it's time to then go to two contracts or even more?
It's a really good question, and I always find it a struggle when I talk to traders, and they have that same question. Actually, the question that sometimes they have is, I want to go to a third and fourth contract. I'm doing so great with one contract. Why stop there? Let me just load the boat. And the problem is sometimes the market will give it to you in the beginning, but then sometimes it doesn't. There's not just the win-loss that you have to consider in building your business and trading. It's also the psychological impact it also has. There's a different psychological thinking that a trader has usually when they go from a one contract level or even a two to a 3, 4, and 5. What also the trader has to think about is the size of their account, their bankroll. Whether it's a percentage of their trades or whether they're just thinking, I'm ready to move to that next level psychologically. That's something that has to be considered, and usually a good trading plan will consider that. But the one thing that you really want to be hesitant on is, I need to make X amount of dollars per week because I got to pay this, this, and this. Usually that's where the psychological disadvantage comes into play, and that's where one trades from scarcity.
So if I'm trading one contract, maybe it's a small portion of my account, so I'm feeling pretty good about the risk there. Even if I lose quite a bit, it's only one contract. There's something happens when you go to 2 or 3 or more contracts, when it becomes much bigger money, much bigger risk, and I start to change the way I trade a little bit. How do you kind of avoid that and keep that same discipline you had with one contract on 2 or 3?
Yeah, it's a very common result, and it's happened to myself and a lot of the traders who start at that level. What I really suggest and recommend is, if you have 4 or 5 or even 10 setups, I have 10 setups in my particular plan, and I look at them as 10 horses running a race. And what I want to do is, I'll start everyone out with one contract. And what I want to do is monitor and track the results of those, whether it's win-loss or, more importantly, really the points, the net points on those. And when it reaches a certain target, say on one contract, if I have a trade setup that gets me 30 points over a course of time, then it's ready for me to graduate. I'm going to graduate that contract to the second contract level. The other ones that haven't got there yet, I'm going to keep to the first level. And if they're really not performing, I'm going to get rid of them. I mean, I have to think of it this way. This is my business. I'm in the business of a trader. And these 10 setups are really like my employees in the business. If they perform for me, I'm going to promote them. If they don't, well, I have to fire them. They're out of my plan.
All right, so taking the 10 horses analogy, I like that. Why not then just put all your money on the one horse that seems to be doing the best and run with that one?
Well, it's a great idea, and it'll always work maybe sometimes for part of the time. The thing is that market dynamics change, and what was once a very good setup may not work in certain conditions. Just recently, maybe over the summer months, certain setups just aren't going to get that muscle because the volume is low. Or even at certain times of the day. That first hour, you have volume coming in, but the cycles are all over the place. So certain setups may only apply to certain time frames. And at the same time, you're really diversifying your risk. Some setups, some of my best setups have had 4, 5, 6, 7 losers in a row. And some of the ones I wasn't confident in just come out of nowhere. Sometimes it's market dynamics. Sometimes it's me psychologically. Maybe it's I'm at that high contract level. It's my best bread and butter horse, as I mentioned. But all of a sudden now, maybe I had a couple of bad trades. That third one, I'm going to get a little scared. And the really ultimate goal is to just trade like a tactician, trade like a project manager. Push that button when your plan says to, and not. And if you have an edge, an actual edge, and even psychological edge on each setup, you'll do fine over the long run. Just understand that you have 10 employees on your payroll. Some are going to work for you some days, some are not. And really, to diversify it, you're really looking at a marathon, not a sprint.
Mike, thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure, Tim.